Git and GitHub masterclass. Hello everyone and welcome to the Git and GitHub masterclass. In this course, we will start by understanding version control and why Git has become the industry standard for managing source code. Then we install, configure Git, learn the essential terminal commands, and create the first Git repository from scratch. Now we will explore how Git track changes through the complete life cycle, learn the daily working flow of adding, committing, and managing project files. We then move GitHub, where you will learn how to create repositories, connect local projects to GitHub, and synchronize your work. As the course progresses, you will master one of the most important Git concepts, branching. We will learn how to create, switch, and manage branching, merge changes safely, and understand different merging strategies. We also create real merge conflicts, learn why they happen, and resolve them step by step, just like professional developers. After that, we'll focus on how team collaboration, including working with multiple developers using fetch, pull, opening pull requests, resolving, reviewing code, and following the collaboration workflow used in real software companies. Finally, we'll bring everything together in complete hands-on projects when two developers collaborate on the same GitHub repository, from creating feature branches to resolve conflicts and merging their works successfully. By the end of this course, you will have the practical skills, confidence to use Git and GitHub effectively in both personal and professional software development projects. Let's get started. Introduction to version control. A version is a system that tracks changes made to files over time. It tracks changes, restore previous files, avoid works. The difference between Git versus GitHub. Under Git, Git is installed on our computer, while GitHub is a cloud platform, whereas Git works offline, while GitHub works online, and Git tracks project history, while Git stores the Git repository. Git used to create commits and branches, while GitHub used to create collaboration and pull requests. In centralized system, one server stores the project, while in distributed system, every developer has a complete copy. Git is a distributed version control DVCS. When to use Git? When we want to track changes, create commits, and create branches, and also merge codes. Use GitHub when backup projects share code, collaborate, and open pull requests. When in module 2, we should download using this link. Let us copy this link and paste in any browser. Based on your computer, you can download the Git version. In my PC, already Git I have installed before, but in your PC, it will select or detect the system you have. For example, if you have Windows, Mac, Linux, etc. For example, let me click Windows. You can click here to download the latest version of C, the latest version of Git. Once you install, you have to run the installer, keep the default settings, and finish the installation. Once you complete the Git installation, you will get both Git GUI and Git Bash. Git GUI it is graphical, while Git Bash is for command line. Example, let's create here Git folder, Git training, open it, and let us open it, open with Git Bash. Click. Once, let's right click, open Git Bash here. Then we can test this one. Git version, it shows like this Git version. You get maybe the latest version, but right now mine Git is 2.46. It is already downloaded a few years ago. After downloaded, we have to create also a GitHub account. Git fundamentals. So the first one is search GitHub in browser and create a GitHub account. So let us search this one, GitHub. Click the first one. Then we get this one. We have to create an account. As a beginner, we have to click this GitHub. We can select with Google. You can select your Gmail. For example, mine is this one. So click give an access to GitHub. Now we have to give a username. The username is a unique identifier for you. So I can create just Beshilo is my username. You have to check if it is not used by others, and also it detects our location. So right now we can create account. Right now it opens, it gives us a Git account. If the system asks you to verify your Gmail, you have to go to your Gmail and verify the link. But right now, my PC is already detected by Git and it gives an access directly to my PC. But in your case, it may not be directly work, so you have to check it. Right now, the Git is this one. It shows this one is the user navigation menu. This one is our profile icon. But most of the time we will use this repository. This one is new repository. We will use this one to create a new repository. For example, if you see my existing repository, this one is my profile. To see my existing repository, click this repository. This one are my repositories. If you want to see the overview, you just like this. And I have over 56 repositories. Example, I don't want this LMS course because it is for training. Just I want to delete this repo. So let's go here, setting. To delete a repository, let's go this setting. Then go down to the delete repository. Click yes, agree. Then select the text under the quotation. Copy, paste under the box provided. Delete. Now select the password, confirm. So right now we have created our own GitHub account. So the next step is to verify the username and email. So let's take the first one and bash. Let's paste this one and change this name to Beshilo. Hit enter. Now next email. My email is for new account. beshilot@gmail.com, gmail.com, then press enter. Now I can see git config --list, press enter. It shows like this. After this, we can see some terminal commands and purpose. PW, it is used to show the current path. Clear shows it clears our terminal like this. And example, PWD, it shows my current path. In this key, Beshilo folder, Git training, ls used to list all files, but right now there is no files. cd is to change the folder. Example, let us create mkdir, create folder. Example, let us mkdir. Let us create two folders, course, home, contact. Let's say ls. It shows a list of folders and touch used to create files. First, let's use cd. The use of cds to change a directory. Let's enter course. Right now, check pwd. We are inside the course directory. Now, let's create files. Touch home.js, contact.js, index.html. We can create multiple files once. Check ls. Now we have 3 files inside the course directory. To go back one step, let us cd pwd. Previously I was inside courses, but right now back one step. So right now ls only in git training directory. To delete, we use rm to delete these files. Example, let us go back cd courses. Then let's copy this one or delete ls this one. Then rm minus ref, copy this one, give it, press enter, ls, there is no file because we have deleted, we have removed. So you can check yourself this one, and if we want to clear this one all, clear, it clears our terminal. Right now ls, this one nothing. Right now we can also see directly Beshilo training. It creates these files, contact course. It creates these folders, but inside it, nothing. Example, inside course, nothing. Inside Git, example, touch, index.html. We have seen this one. It creates index.html and also CSS. It creates CSS. To see with links, go view on top side, then click this file name extension. Now we can see this index.css, index.html. Right now let's delete these two files, index.css and index.html. ls, then rm minus rf, copy these two files, then paste. It deletes automatically. Right now we want to open our project with VS Code, but before that, let's go back one step, cd dot. Right now we are here. Let's go back here, contact, course, home, right clear, ls. Now we can delete this manually, clear again, and let's delete this one, right click, delete. Now let's create our repository in our local PC, then git init, press enter. It creates this file, this git init. First open it, this one, it has this lists. The git init is used to create a hidden folder. It stores commit history, branches, configuration, etc. If you didn't see this git folder, check this view, under view, make sure this hidden items is checked. Example, let's untick this one, then the .git extension disappear. Let's again tick. When ticking, you will see this one. When untick, you will lose that one. So make sure to check it. So let's create some folders. mkdir, course, contact, about. It creates these three folders. Then let's create three files: touch, index.html, a script.js, a script.py, Python. So I have now these files. Right now our aim is to create a repository. So we have to say first, let's clear this one, ls. Now git add. To say git add all, we have to add dot after space. But for single file, we can add example about. For single file, we can use its actual name. But to add all, we just space, then add dot, then press enter. The next step is the packaging step. This step is already the staging area. This one is the packaging step. This one is the packaging step. The first one is working area, working directory. It is the actual area in our PC. The next one is the staging area, the commit, and the repository. So let's say git add, then git commit -m, first commit, then press enter. Next, we have to go in our GitHub. In this plus icon, click this new repository. Then it gives an access to write a space. Then in this, we can write example, Beshilo 1. We can write some description here. If you want to write a public folder to anyone, we can write this public. Unless if you want to log or to ourselves, we can make it this private like this. But just we want to make it public to access anywhere for others. once we fill, we can click this create a repository. Now we will get this one. Already we have a Git init. We can also copy this to create a readme file. This is a description what we are doing. So we can paste this one. It creates a readme file, and inside it has Beshilo one directory. Let us see this one. We have this readme. Under it has Beshilo one text. The next one is git commit -m. Already we did it, but to include this readme, we have to do it again. So we have to say git add again, then git commit. Next, we have to copy this one, git branch -m main. For the first time, this one is. For the next, we just write git push directly. So press enter. Next, let's copy this link. It is used to connect our remote repository GitHub, this GitHub, to our local PC or Git. Now press enter. The last one is this one, git push. For the first time, we can take this as it is, but next time, once we add, or for existing folder, we will use this one. So right now we use this git push. Just follow these steps. Then press enter. In your PC, actually will get directly, but I am using two accounts with the same computer, so it asks me to verify. So it says connect to GitHub because right now I have signed in with two Git accounts. That is the reason why it asks me right now to verify it. So click sign in with your browser. So it asks me to verify within authorize the Git credential manager. Yes, so I have to click this authorize Git ecosystem. Now authentication is succeeded. So as soon as the authentication is succeeded, it pushes the project directly. Right now, let's refresh it because already the project is pushed. Refresh, we have got this one. Example, inside readme, we wrote Beshilo -1 text. So this one is the first step for beginners to connect the GitHub account with the local repository. So we can write this clear. We can check ls. We have this one. Now also git status. Always check your git status. Git remote -v. Also w. Also a. This one is what we have to see the remote Git repository and also Git branch. Actually, we'll see it later. So you can repeat this one, a repetition process and understanding files also modify, add. Example, let's repeat. First, let's clear this one. ls, first to understand, let's open with Visual Studio Code dot space dot. Now it is opening under processing to open. Open in integrate terminal. Give trust. Click this one. ls. Then git status. So let's write now inside index.html. Let's write h1 welcome to the Git course. So right now I have modified. So it shows m because it is modified. And let us create new file. Hello.py, hello Python, and let's write also inside this clg git. We can check the first step one is staging files. To stage file, we can say git add. First, let's see git status. Have you seen index.html modified, script.js modified, hello.py is untracked. It shows you clear. Now let's say git add dot space git add space dot. Now it shows to a. Let's say git status hello.py is new file. The two files are modified. You can see git log. The git log is like this, and also git diff. Have you seen this one? It shows the author, the date. You can test and practice already we have seen deleting files, but let's git commit first. Clear. Now let's see this one. Git add space dot again. Git commit -m. We have to write a message. We can say second commit. This one must be under quotation. Press enter. Right now we can use git push because already connected before. It works exactly. So right now we can refresh still the first commit. This one, when refresh to see the second, it shows this one. The first commit, the third, the second commit. You can also work this working with files. For example, rename, to rename example, clear this one. Let's create touch register.js. I have this register.js file, but I want to rename it to login.js. So to rename it, we have to use git move. Then first the old, second the new file name. Example, in our case, git mv, both move and rename are the same. So first git mv, write register.js space login.js. Our aim is to rename register.js into login.js. Then press enter. At least let's check it. It says not under version control. Source register is destination login.js. We did wrong. The mistake is register.js is untracked. So first we have to track. So to make that, git add register.js, git commit -m register. Now git push. Now this register is already tracked. Let's clear again. By the way, I can use the upward arrow to use the previous commands. So right now the git register is already tracked. So git move register space login.js. Our aim is to rename register into login. Then press enter. Yeah, it successfully changed. Now, unless there is no register.js, instead we have login.js. That means our renaming is successfully changed. Example, this script y. Let's change it. Script py into login.js. Login.css. This I want to change it into this one. Press enter. It successfully changed. Previously we have a script.py, but right now it changed into login.css. This one is so we have did a renaming. The next one is git remove. Already we did. To delete files or folders, you can use rm -rf. Let's say this one script.js. It deleted successfully. Unless right now we can use git add or git commit -m third commit git push, because already the flow is the same. We can use the same way. Let's go there and refresh it. Yeah, the first commit, the second, the third commit. In the first way, we have created the first git init, then we connected to our GitHub. In the second way, we can click this code, then we can copy this one. Or we have to create other repositories. You can check it, this GitHub. Already we see this one, but let's repeat because it uses the clone. So let's go there again. This one, new repository. We can say Beshilo 2. Just directly we can create. We can write also this. This is for training. We can write, click this create repository. Make sure always you have to wait. This one is until green. If not green, you have to change this one to be accessible. If you used this name previously, it cannot be accepted. Example, let's write 1. It does not accept because already exists. So make sure not to use your duplicated account. So use 2, then create repository. Now I didn't repeat this step because already we have learned and you did it. The next step is and suggested by everyone, including me. I suggest to use all of you to use this method. That means this one right here. Just go there, this one, copy, click this one. Then let's close the previous terminal and also let's close VS Code. We have this one, Git training. Next, let's create two folders, Git training 2. Make sure always your folder name don't use spaces in writing folder names. So let's use this Git training. Open it, Git training 2. Inside it, let's open this with Git bash. So let's maximize it. Make sure write this Git clone. Then we have this link already copied. Once we write Git clone, let's paste it, press enter. It copies, it downloads everything inside our project. So let's say ls Beshilo 2. This Beshilo 2 where inside here. This one is Beshilo 2. So let's say cd Beshilo 2. Now pwd where we are. Inside this we can write example readme echo, or just we can copy this line, the first line, paste it here. We can also git add, git commit -m Beshilo 2 first commit. Now git push, because already, let's say git push, let's refresh it, this one already connected it. Right now we can open this one with Visual Studio Code. Before that, let's clear it, code space dot to open with Visual Studio Code. Right now I have no Visual Studio Code, but now it brings. Let's open with integrate terminal, give an access. Let's write file index.html, then give some initial files and text, example h1, git end, GitHub full course. Right now we can just directly git add, git push, example ls first, git add, git commit -m, just give some text, index html, git push. Already the same step. You can repeat anytime, anywhere, because the flow is the same. So the step is the same. You can create files, check status, stage, commit, and the workflow is always clone the repository, open the project, create or edit files, git status, git add, git commit, git push to the origin. So make sure to use. Already we have used this one. Git clone is copy the remote repository like we have used before this. How using this repo we have used before. Git fetch, download the remote changes without merging. This one is without merging. Git pull, download and merge remote changes. Git push, upload local commits. Git switch to branches. After this, we will see with branches. So the next our topic is this one. You can check yourself, but most of branch related we will see together. So after this, git branching, merging, merge conflicts. We will see this in detail. So understand, create branches, create and modify files in branches, commit changes, push changes, merge locally, merge using GitHub. We will see this one in detail, one by one. Merge commits, create a read merge conflict, resolve conflicts. The first step is create a new practice. Already we have a project folder and git init. We don't repeat. Let's clear it. To be clear for you, let's delete it, all of this. ls rm -rf. It already deleted. Now just we are on cloning. Nothing is file. So let's start with fresh touch home.js. Inside home.js, let's write console log. This is version 1 on main page, or this one is version 1. Git status. So right now let's git add, git commit -m home, git push. Now everything is okay. We have completed the first step. Even we can verify this using We can also clear using Ctrl L instead of clear. So git log one line to verify. It shows like this. The next step is to create branch. Before creating a branch, we can check the git status, git branch. Right now, I am inside the main branch. This is the asterisk or the star shows the current branch. Right now, let's create a new branch. After writing git branch, let's write a branch name. Example, register. I have created a register branch. To check it, let's write git branch. When we check it, git branch, we saw two types, main and register. So I have created a register branch. So the next step is let's change it into the register branch. To make that, I have to write git switch register. Then let's check it, git branch. Right now, I am inside git branch, but it takes two steps. First, git branch register. Second, it asks me to git switch to register. But instead of write this one two times, the best step is to create a branch and automatically to switch it. Example, let's say this clear it, clear. Right now git branch, and let's write automatically switch to main. Right now, okay, let us git branch. Right now I am inside main. My aim is to create a branch and automatically to switch that. Example, let's write git switch, then -c, then login branch. I want to create a login branch, then git switch -c login. This is automatically create a login branch and also at the same time switch into the login branch. Create it. It shows switch to a new branch login. Let's check it by writing git branch. Yeah, it shows, the asterisk shows on the login branch. So we have seen how to create a git branch. Right now we have seen a login branch. Now I want to delete a branch also. So creating a branch, git branch login, that's creating a branch. Git switch, it shows two steps. Instead, git switch -c is a shortcut. So git switch -c feature login. This C means create. The next step is to delete a branch. To delete a branch, we have to switch into main. Example, I want to delete a login. Inside here, I can't delete the login. Example, login branch -d space login. Please enter. It says cannot delete the branch because it is an active branch. So to delete a branch, we have to switch to main branch. Click here. Yeah, it says we can't delete a branch, so we need to switch main. Now I am inside main. So right now I want to delete. So let's repeat the previous command. Right now I am inside the main branch and I want to delete this git branch -login. So have you seen? Right now it deletes the branch. We can delete any branches when we are in the main. Otherwise, when we are in active branches, we can't delete. So right now, login branches already deleted. There is no here in the list. So let's clear it. Right now, I am in main, and also let's check it. ls git status. I have this one. Right now, I want to switch to register. Git switch, register, git branch, and ls. If you see, I am inside the branch, and also it copies the home. Now I want to create another file. Let's clear this one. I want to create another file. I am inside register. Let's create register.js console log. This is a register page. And also let us modify the home version 1. Let's change to version 2 from or version 2 inside register. Right now I am here ls. So let us add to git. Git add git commit -m register branch git push. Have you seen? Always when we do a mistake, it shows a suggestion. For the first time, not say git push because I am inside git branch. So I have to use the middle one, this git upstream, git push, dash dash, set upstream, origin master. So let's copy it. This one, copy, let's clear. Instead of git push, let's press push, enter. So instead of git push, I have to use the middle one. So let's write this one, git push, whenever the first time we have used this origin and also the branch name. So now let's enter. The push shows like this. This is our the first time. Right now I have a register this page and also I have modified this home. So next let's clear, and I want to switch to main branch. Press enter and let's say ls. In main I have only home.js. It shows register deleted, but I have not deleted the register file. Instead, it was changed to the branch because I have back to the branch. For example, let's go back register. I have this register. Let's check it, the file. I have this file. Even we can check git branch. I am inside git register. So let's go back to main and clear again. Already in main ls. Again, it changed to register. Let's see also our GitHub. It shows compare and pull request. Inside main, let's change this file. This file is inside. Let's change it inside main. Let's add, let's say git add, git commit. I can say homepage, git push, because this is already connected. Still now it shows compare and pull request. And let's clear to see the detail, and let's increase font size. Right now I am inside main. I want to merge this branch because even inside this one I have two branches, register branch and main. So inside this I want to merge git merge then register. Obviously we have got a conflict. The main goal of creating a branch is when doing the projects, two persons can help us to do projects separately. The first person can delete the second person's work. In that way, have you seen this one? So the second one I have did in the register branch, while the first one is did in the main branch. So I have two options. So it shows resolving in merge editor. This one is the incoming change, while this one is the current change. And also this one, can you accept the current change, accept the incoming change, or accept both changes or compare changes? Example, if I want to compare these changes, clear, and it opens in separate windows. This one is the register side, the branch side, while the second one is the second side, the first side. So example, let's say I want to accept this current change. I can click this directly, or I can manually write this one. Even if I want to accept incoming changes, I can click. Even I want to accept post changes, I can click this one. Right now, I have accepted the two changes. Or even I can delete the first or the second as I want. Assume I have accepted both of the two. Now the problem is solved. Git add, git commit -m merging. Then I have to say git push origin main. Right now let's say ls. Already the files are merged. Let me clear again. I am inside main. Previously register was not inside main, but right now after merged or after resolved, I have got this one. So let's say git merge. It is already updated, so everything is clear and merged. So right now I can delete register. I can delete this branch, git branch -d register. Already deleted. There is no git branch, it is only main. Now I have this, and also I have two branches, but I want to delete this register branch. One way to delete using this register, while the second way is to use the command line to register. So let's delete. Right now let's refresh it. So the register is deleted. This one is our second way. Now let's create another branch. Example, play read git branch. Right now, ls these two files, I want to create a login branch. Git switch -c login branch. Right now, I am inside login branch and I have this. This one is already before written inside main. Now I want to modify this inside login, and I want to write also another file, login.js, clg, login page, ls. I have this file. This home is modified git branch, then git add all, git commit, login branch, git push, then it will correct itself. Yeah, I write just login git push, then it will correct me to say git push setup stream. Now copy, clear this one and write again git push. How you see it creates like this. But when I write ls, I have these three files. Let's clear. Inside login, I have three files. While inside me, let's say ls, I have only two files, home and register. The login is not deleted because it is inside another branch. So let's modify the home inside the main branch. Let's say clear git add all, git commit -m login, git push. So again, let's clear git branch. I am inside main. Let's say git merge login and press enter. Yeah. Now, right now, I have get a conflict. I have to resolve this conflict. So inside the editor we have seen before, right now we have to solve inside our GitHub. Let's refresh it. Method 2. In our GitHub we have this compare and pull request. So let's click compare and request. In login branch, it shows cannot automatically merge. So we have to, it asks us create a pull request. It shows this branch has a conflict that must be resolved. So it says resolve conflicts. So let's click this one. It shows one conflict. I have this conflict. This one is the login page. I have to accept the changes, both incoming, accept both changes, or I can this manually. To short our workers, let's say I have to accept both changes, or let's say I have accept the current change. Now let's say mark it as resolved. This one is resolved. Then commit merge. It shows resolved and right click. Now it checks for the ability to merge automatically. It is checking for the ability to merge automatically. And let's say write this one conflict solved. Then commit. Once we commit, it asks merge pull request, and also the branch means it is verified and solved. Then let's ask merge pull request, extended description, it's login branch, and also confirm merge. So pull request successfully merged and closed. Now it is completed. Then commit. Right now our project is successfully merged and solved. We can see this one. There is no pull request already completed. Even we can write a readme file here. We can write git branch and resolve conflict. Then commit changes, commit. So resolve in editor. Everything. This one complete merge, complete, closed. It shows like this. Then continue. So we have solved it in two ways. Now we are in module 4, Git collaboration. We will see how we can share a GitHub repository, clone the existing repository, create feature branches, fetch remote changes, push the latest updates, and push local changes, open a pull request, then review code, merge changes into the main branch. Scenario, assume, imagine you are working for Beshilo Coding Academy. Two developers are working on the same project. Developer 1 build both the navigation bar and the footer, while the developer 2 builds the login page and dashboard page. Both developers work independently and then combine their work into the main branch. So In part 1, developer 1 expect to create the first repository, github.com. We have to create our new repository. This is a plus icon. Then click this new repository. We can say Beshilo project description. This is for learning purpose. Then create repository. Now let's go down. We can use this one, but already we did into waste last time. So we can just copy this link. Just click here. After copying, let's come here and open empty space. Open git bash here. Then we have to write git clone and paste. Git clone, then paste. Now enter. It clones the empty object. It brings down or download all the contents of Beshilo project as you see on the folder. Let's see, unless these two projects are already they existed, we bring down this one, cd Beshilo project, then press enter. Now it is nothing, already empty. Let us open it in Visual Studio Code. To open in Visual Studio Code, we have to write code, then space dot, then enter. Now it tries to open the Visual Studio Code window. We can also open the Visual with terminal, open it, integrate terminal, give it rest, close these unnecessary things. Let us write some files, readme.md. This is a collaboration project. Next, let's write home.js. Now let's see what we have inside here. We have home.js and readme, git add all, git commit -m, initial project. Then we can say git push. Instead of git push, we have to write git push origin, then branch name main. Since I am using the same PC for two GitHub accounts, it asks me to verify the device. So I have to use this command to clear my credentials for the first time. But in your case, you may not be asked like this because you are using a single account for single device. So I should enter. Then I got this one. Now let's git push origin main. Yeah, it asks me to verify my device because I have opened two accounts with the same PC just for this class for learning and teaching purpose. Now let's say sign in with your browser. Right now it shows please complete authentication in your browser. Now it opens my browser. Yeah, it gets authentication and it shows succeeded. It shows also the same in the Visual Studio Code. It completes the git push origin main. It completes the git push origin main. Now we can refresh this one. Click. It gets like this home.js and readme. Inside readme, we have this where we write inside our VS Code. Now it is time to collaboration. We have to give an access to the second developer. Part 2, second developer joins the project. So we have to give an access. Assume second developer is in this tab. This one is my main GitHub account. I have already over 55 repos and I want to give to this one. So this is our main project. To give a collaboration, if you see top area, we have these settings. Click it, find the collaborators and click it. It gives me like this to confirm access. It asks me to verify my email. Then click, it sends an email. So let's go there to my email. It sends, I have received this code and copy it. Then paste here. Now let's say verify. Now I have get this portion. It says you have not invited any collaborators. So I can add people right now. Let's say add people. I can search Git by usernames. Example, Haile 1221 is, this one is my own Azure account. That means this one, ID 1221. After this, it asks me add Haile 1221. Then click add. Once I click, it shows me like this. It says pending. It waits until the Haile accepts this response inside Haile's email, Gmail, then GitHub here. Now it says view invitation. It says like this one, accept invitation. In the second way, right here, with the second way, I have to go here. This is the inbox, and let us click it. Let us accept this one, accept invitation. So if you see, this one is my secondary account. It shows you have a push access to the Haile 12.11 Beshilo project repository. While it shows still this, it shows pending. Let us refresh it. Now I have get a collaborator access. It shows one entity has access to this repository. The entity is this one Haile. My second account has get an access. Let's go my second account. So let us clone this. Click this green icon and copy this one. Let's come here and I have to write another folder. Let's say developer 2. Inside developer 2, let's open git bash and let's us write git clone using the developer 2 account I am cloning. So right now, ls, I got this Beshilo project. Let's say cd to Beshilo project, press. Now let us open it with Visual Studio Code, code space dot. So this one is the first project did by the developer one, while this one is the second project cloned by developer 2. Let us open it with open integrate terminal and give an access. Close unnecessary tabs, ls it copies the original work, both home.js and readme. Now let's go back to developer 1 and clear it. ls part 3 developer 1 expect to create its own branches. So let us create and switch this navbar feature, copy it, paste inside branch. I can check with git branch. It shows the stories in feature branch. So I am inside the navbar. Now let us create files, touch navbar.js and footer.js. Right now I have footer.js, home.js and readme come from the main object. Okay, sorry, this readme must have only single dot. Let's edit it. I mistake, sorry. ls again, clear. Now again, ls, let's write something inside footer, clg, footer page, inside navbar, clg, navigation, page. Now let's say ls, git status. It shows readme is deleted. Yeah, because already edited. Now let's clear it again. ls, git add. By the way, I am inside branch. Let's see git branch. So git add space dot git commit -m navigation and footer. Now I can write git push, but it gives me like this: git push set upstream origin feature main. It brings itself. Let's try git push. It brings this one. So let us copy this. Now press enter. It pushes the project. Let's see this one. This one is our developer 1 or the first project. Let's click it. Yeah, it shows two branches and asks compare and pull. Let's click it, the branch. It shows the feature branch. Inside the feature branch, we have footer.js, home.js, and navbar.js. It shows compare and pull request. Ls, this one, so git branch, this one. In GitHub, it shows also compare and pull request, but we can finish this locally. We have to switch main. Inside the branch, I have these 4 files. While let's switch to main, git switch main, ls, still inside the main, or we can see git branch. Sorry, I forgot P. Inside the main, I have only 2 files. And also on the top, if you see this, it shows delete. These files are not deleted. The reason is I have switched to the main. let's go back to the branch. Git branch, let's go back, git switch, feature branch, git branch. Now inside back to feature branch, ls, these files are still exist. And also inside here, they are not opening as you see. So let's go back to the main, git switch to main, ls, still two files. To bring this one, the copy of this one, I have to merge the branch. Git merge, then I have to write the branch name, this one. Git merge feature navbar. Now I have merged it, and now let's check ls. When I said ls, I have got all the copies of the branch workers. Right now I am inside the main. So the work is corrected and merged. Let's say git add all, git commit -m, git push. Now everything is okay. We can refresh this one. The problem is solved. It connects this one itself. Now part 4, the next one is the developer2 must be clone its own. I am inside developer2. Before going to developer2, I have to remove the history. In your case, no problem because you are using different PC for different account. Since I am using the same device for different account, every time disconnect the devices when using each account. So I am using this one. If you want this one for training purpose for yourself, I will put under the description. So let's say I have risk. When I push the project, it will give me an option to select the one account that I want to use currently. Now the developer2 stays on the main, the second account. See git branch, developer2 is in main. So I have to create a branch. Let's copy it. Git switch -c feature. C means create. It creates a branch at the same time switch to the feature login. Git switch -c feature login. Press enter. It creates. Yeah. Now I am inside the feature login creating files. Touch login.js. Now these 4 files. Let's write something. CLG dashboard login CLG login page, and let's write something in home CLG. This is done by developer who. Right now ls dashboard, this one. So let's say git add space dot git commit -m. I can say developer2. I forget g. It adds these files. The next I should use this to say git push, copy, then paste. Now git push -- set upstream origin, then branch name feature login, then press enter. Now it will ask me, the GitHub on which device I should sign in. So let's click here. Click with browser. It shows info. Please complete authentication in your browser. It authenticated. As soon as it authenticates, it directly pushes the project and shows like this. Let's come back to developer2 profile. It shows like this. Let us refresh it. Previously, we have only in the main branch, we have this one, footer.js and navbar.js are pushed by developer1 branch, while in the branches, this active login or branches, this login branch, dashboard and login branch were written by developer2, and it shows this compare and pull. The owner of the project is the developer1, so this one must be evaluated by developer1. So the next step is understanding fetch. Suppose developer1 wants to, whether anyone pushes new work, run a git fetch. Let's go back to developer1 account and refresh it. It shows originally footer.js, home.js, navbar.js were done by developer1, but I have also seen these 3 branches on the top section. This feature branch is already created by developer1, while this feature login is done by developer2. And also let's go back to developer1 terminal. Let's erase. Now I want to adjust this home.js in developer1. As you know, in developer2, the home.js has written like this. For example, let's copy this one, take and paste to the developer one, then change this one only, developer one. Now let us git add dot git commit -m developer one, then git push. Now it will be asked to verify on which account or the device. Let's say git push. It must, it brings now. This one is the internet issue, while this init try, it brings this one. So I have to select the browser, then sign in with your browser. Let's say click, it checks, please complete the authentication in your browser. Now it is under checking and authentication is succeeded. As soon as the authentication is succeeded, it pushes the project immediately. Then the project is already pushed. Let's say console.log developer one is already pushed. Now let's go back developer to terminal, or we can go to developer to terminal. I can compare and pull request. Let's ask pull request. We are title developer to pull request. It asks create a pull request. Then click here. It is checking for the ability to merge automatically. If there is no mistake, it tries to check and merge automatically, while if there is error, it will ask to correct it. But still, it is in trying to checking it. As soon as the checking ability is completed, this command, it gives an error. This branches conflicts that must be solved. Resolve conflict. Then click here. This one, resolve conflict. Let's go there. It shows this one and it shows accept changes, accept incoming, accept post changes. Let me click accept current changes. Now one conflict, then write this one, click this one, mark as solved. Now let's commit merge. Now also checking for merge automatically. By the way, this merge is verified. Still checking and shows merge conflict is checking still in progress. It is solved. No conflict with the base branch, already completed. So now I can click here, merge pull request, and let's confirm merge. Now pull request successfully merged and closed. In developer 2 page, we have successfully pull request successfully merged and closed. Let's go to developer 1. Let us see again the Beshilo project. So as we see, this one is already completed. We have also 3 branches, but let's go back to developer 1 and merge them. Let's clear it. Clear. First, let us git pull. It completely downloads all the remote status. We can see the remote git branch -v. It shows this one. We can delete this branch, delete it in developer 2. Let's again git pull, already updated, git add, git commit -m, updated. So it says already nothing. So let's say git push. So our project is completed. We have seen today how we can work together collaboratively. Next time we will meet with another project. For today, it is enough. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this channel. Thank you so much for this session.